One of the most energy-sapping issues that you can be unfortunate to have at work is to be working under a very toxic boss. If you are in that kind of situation, I have some 3 powerful tips to help you get along and improve your work life. Let's get down to it. You see, the first issue with working under a very toxic boss has to do with what narrative are you telling yourself in your mind. You see, somebody with a positive mental attitude will see working under a toxic boss as an opportunity to learn how to live with difficult people. You see, through my working career, I've been privileged because to me it's a privilege. There is nothing unfortunate about it. I've been privileged to serve under very high-handed bosses. And the mindset I used was to look at that situation as an opportunity to learn, because once in a while, whether you like it or not, you are going to encounter such people once in a while, whether at work, whether in the church, whether in the mosque, whether in the community, whether in the neighborhood, whether at market, even just going to shop. You might be unfortunate to jam somebody that has such attitude. So it is a lifelong lesson which you have the opportunity to learn. So if you look at it from the perspective of learning, the weight, the burden of going to meet that same toxic person day in, day out at work will be greatly reduced. Secondly, if you have a positive mental attitude towards the situation, you are going to discover that it will help you to objectively assess what are the root causes of the boss attitude. What is causing his behavior? What is the underlying reason why he is being toxic? From my experience, I've discovered that most bosses behave in a toxic manner due to 3 basic or broad reasons. The first of those is insecurity. The second one is the Machiavellian attitude, where people believe that it is better to be feared than to be loved. And then the third one is some are psychologically offbeat, they are sadists by nature. So if you don't have a positive mental attitude, you will not be able to understand which of these 3 categories does your boss fall into, and you will not be able to craft mitigating strategies to make your life easier, and then possibly, if it's something that can be dealt with, to compassionately assist the boss along the way for him to become a better person. So your attitude, your mindset, the way you look at the issue of serving under a very toxic boss is going to a greater extent, determine how you survive and how you live, whether you live a healthy working life or you live the life of somebody that is sulking. Besides, when we look at the different reasons why bosses behave in a toxic manner and the possible strategies you can adopt, you understand why the number 1 key thing you have to do is to make up your mind whether you are the positive type or you are going to approach it negatively. So once you make that decision, if you are like me and you have a positive outlook to everything in life, whether it's raining, whether it's sunshine, then the second thing is to understand what is the underlying cause of the attitude that the boss is putting on, which is toxic and affecting you. At times, it will even affect your relationships and then other aspects of your life. So you need to understand, why do such bosses behave the way they behave? The first reason is insecurity. Have you ever served under the boss that used to tell you, do you think you're better than anyone? Do you think you're too smart? Well, those are very good indicators that will tell you that your boss is suffering from insecurity. In this case, the insecurity he's suffering from is maybe he have seen that you are so good at what you do, and he feel that you are trying to outshine him, or you are trying to unseat him. Remember in Robert Greene's book, The 48 Laws of Power, he said that the first law of power is that you should never outshine the master. And whenever you do things, either consciously or unconsciously, that the master thinks you are trying to outshine him, then definitely he's going to be very toxic towards you, because he feels you are unseating him, and then you are trying to take over his leadership position. So there are other insecurities. Some bosses are not insecure because they think that you are better than them. In fact, in reality, some of the bosses actually don't know their work. They don't have anything to offer. And if they allow their subordinates to get close to them, then the subordinates will realize that the boss does not know what to do. So to them, they extend that macho exterior to intimidate and to terrorize their subordinates into submission, such that the subordinate will not even have any chance to get close to the boss and to get to know him at a deeper level, and to get to understand that the boss is not having any substantial value to offer. Then other sources of insecurity could be maybe he's suffering from relationships. He's having a very bad relationship with the opposite gender, and then you happen to be the social jovial type at work, and he sees that you can easily interact with people, you can make friends, and he does not have that attribute or characteristics. So normal human nature, your boss might become envious, and from there he might start acting toxic towards you. So the number one key tip here is that you should try to understand, if your boss is the insecure type, what is the root cause of his insecurity. And once you nail the root cause of that insecurity, then you'll be able to devise countermeasures. Just like I said, I've served under a boss that thinks that I'm trying to show him that I know too much. Meanwhile, out of my own naivety, I was just trying to be of service, to ease his workflow, to provide solutions to him, to walk ahead, to help him have a comfortable tenure at the workplace. But he looked at it as if I was trying to outshine him. So what did I do when I realized what was happening? I started looking for ways to give credit to the boss. Even when I'm trying to take any action, I will look for something the boss have said before, and then I'll align what I'm trying to do, and then I'll brief him upfront. I'll tell him that, sir, based on what you say the other time, I was inspired by what you said, and I thought that this is part of what you were trying to tell me to do. So I just want to know if you are giving me permission to go ahead and carry on the directives as earlier given. And when I started doing that, I noticed that my boss started becoming friendly, and at the end of our working relationship, we became very good friends. And in fact, he became a mentor to me, and then he opened up, and then my family and his family got to know each other, and then from there we have established a lifelong relationship till now. Even though he's retired, I still call him, and then he still call me, and we exchange ideas, and he tries to find out how am I doing at my current workplace. So that is one advantage of trying to understand what is the root cause of the toxic nature that your boss is showing. Because if you truly take the time and understand, you may be amazed that the same person that used to be toxic towards you will become a very gentle and loving and caring friend. and then he will mentor you and lift you up. If the issue is not insecurity, but the issue is you are dealing with one of the Machiavellian types that believe it is better to be feared than to be loved. Once you understand that, the leverage they are holding, their power, the base, the pedestal on which their source of confidence and power lies on is fear. And once you make it absolutely very, very clear to your boss in a very respectful way that you are not afraid of him, you are just respecting him because it is your duty to respect him. But your respect of him is just out of the established norms in the society. He deserves your respect by virtue of his position, by virtue of his age, by virtue of his knowledge. So you are respecting him. But you are not 1 inch afraid of him. Once the boss realizes that, then of course he is human. He will now know that, okay, his end state is to make sure that you respect him. And you have clearly passed the message that you respect him, not out of fear, but out of the natural order of things. Then you and him will become best friends, because believe you me, even those bosses that you think they are toxic, they are also human at the core. They want to relate, they want to be respected, respect that comes naturally, not through bullying. They value it so much. And once they discover you are one of those people that respect him for who he is, irrespective of whatever he does, then I assure you, you will build another lifelong friend in that boss. Then if the issue is the boss is naturally a sadist, he is not being toxic out of insecurity, he's not being toxic out of Machiavellian training, then the only alternative option for you is to show some empathy, despite the fact that the boss is affecting you negatively. You need to start meeting him with some positive outlook, and then do not take his antics and his display of macho power, do not take them seriously. In fact, such bosses, when he's shouting, the best thing to do is to remain calm and then to smile. And after some time, he will start realizing that you are mirroring the qualities that he lacks, which is a friendly attitude, which is respect to others, which is empathy, which is compassion. And like psychologists usually say, we as humans, we try to mirror the attitudes that we see in others. If you are lucky, such a boss will start to pick some positive vibes from you, and down the line, you may just end the working relationship. I will not say on a friendly note, but at least at a better note than where it will have been if you are not to be positive towards the issue. Alternatively, you can just move to another department or seek for posting out of that station, or look for how to minimize contact with him as much as possible, until when the natural course of working life either takes you out of the place or take your boss out of the place, because absolutely he has a psychological issue which needs to be addressed. But you are the subordinate. You cannot address the psychological issues of your boss. So these are the ways that I use to handle toxic bosses at work. If you find this video helpful, you can please like, share, and then subscribe to my channel to help me make other such videos in the future. Thank you, and see you next time.